I am the newest artist here at Affair the Arts. I'm very grateful to Smith and Scott for buying this gallery and giving me an opportunity to show some of my artwork. Thank you. So I do photography. I've been doing photography since about 2010, more on the professional level. I had a SLR, like an entry-level SLR before, and then 2010 I bought that SLR right there. SLR is a single lens reflection camera, and I've been taking pictures ever since. Recently I got into videography, and that's been actually going quite well for me. But let me talk about the pieces that I got down here. The piece on the top left is the piece that I have that was taken in Canada, up in Toronto. So that piece actually is a long exposure of a freeway, the red and the blue, and so those are the cars passing in and out on the freeway. It took me quite some time to Photoshop out all the extra obstacles that were in the way, and just to make it a black background. The picture underneath it is the lead tree right there at I-45, and that was actually also a long exposure, 30-second exposure. And what I did is I put the camera on the long on the mode. So with this camera I can actually have a 10 seconds before it starts taking pictures. So what I did is I pressed the button and I ran to the tree with a flash, and I put as many flashes, about 5 from the bottom, to eliminate the tree from the bottom down, to get this effect. So the tree is lit up during the sunset. So it's actually past the sunset because the sun actually went down and it was dark, but because it was 30-second exposure, it took some time for that sky to be lit up and get this gradient of red and blue colors up on top. And as you can see, wherever I got the flash, so for example on the left, I was closer to this tree and I was able to capture the details much better than up on top here. It's much more blurry on top because there was no flash up there. And so the details were captured much better on the bottom. For example, this bush right here is kind of wobbly because I didn't have the time to go and flash it. This piece down here, the moon was the reflection. That's actually a composite. And I took a picture of a moon with my telephoto lens to get nice details on the surface of the moon. And then this tree, this reflection down here was actually taken from, this was an ocean at night, from a high-rise. And the moon is actually, should have been much smaller, but and it was much higher in the sky. But I took the reflection and then I composited in the moon later on to make sure. But everybody believes that this that it was the way that it was before, and everybody said, I think, oh, you got a very nice reflection of the moon. So Photoshop works very, very well to make believable pictures. Thank you. This here is a Sacred Heart Church, and this was taken from the Toll Tower, the American insurance building. And what I actually did is you can blur the background. So the background up on top and the background on the bottom was blurred out. So this kind of looks like a miniature picture like you would take with a smaller camera. So it looks like it was just like a miniature miniature church, but it's just an extra effect that you can apply the picture down here, the fireworks. So these were actually taken in Kima. There was a ride in Kima that lit up this way, and then and when I take pictures, when I can say live pretty close to Kima, you get the fireworks coming through. And this is actually a composite of 3 photographs. So one photograph was just the lights, and I had to clean up some of the lights down here. This was one of the fireworks that I captured, and this light up here was my capture from a different picture where I took and exposed as the firework was coming up. So I composed all 3 together to make to look this composite picture. But I'm just trying to make everything seem seamless so people don't. I mean, so it would seem that it's it was just the way it was. This photograph right here is actually taken from a boat in the Philippines, in the Boracay Island, and it was just my old SLR that I had, and it was just a snapshot that I took on auto mode, and it came out very nice, and I just had to just crop it properly, apply some effects to it, and this has been actually one of my best-selling pictures for quite some time now. And this lighthouse is a lighthouse up in Florida, and near Daytona Beach, Florida. So this is the composite here, and there's an HDR effect that was applied to the lighthouse to make all the colors stand out. So yeah, I really enjoy putting together the pictures and doing the digital art, because and it just makes me concentrated. Sometimes I spend more than I should. The one up here, so this is actually Houston, downtown Houston, and there is a spot downtown Houston that has locks on the outside, and that's where people that are proposing to each other, they put their locks in there. So you can actually see their initials, people here, and then there is a bunch of locks up there, and one of the locks there has actually a little note that says divorced. So I guess they couldn't bring me the cutter, so instead of that, they just decided to put a divorced. If you go to my Instagram account, then you can see I have like a composite, because I was playing around with the f-stop here. So this one I was kind of made it blurry, because this was at the f-stop of, I don't know, 3.5. But then I got to f11, and all of them were in focus, more or less. And then I got a picture of the divorce. I thought it was pretty funny when I was there. But there were a bunch of other photographers. I had to fight for space. It was like a Wednesday.
It's a popular place.
It is a popular place, so I had to elbow them out for a while. Yeah.
Well, it was worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was right around sunset time, so the reflections of the sky will show up very nice on the downtown buildings.
Thanks.
Beautiful pictures.
Any questions?
What's your favorite subject to shoot?
I like to shoot sports photography, because the subjects, like if you can shoot far away from with a telephoto lens, when they don't really know that you're shooting them, because you get very candid expressions on their face. And so if you like shoot in the studio, you can kind of direct them, and they can make different expressions. But if you shoot during the game, especially if you shoot like a basketball game, because basketball games are the best to shoot, because all the players, they do not have any headgear, and there's a high chance of scoring points. So, but if you get to the end of the game and it's a close game and everybody's high on tension, then you get really nice pictures at the end, to just see the feelings of the players that are taken. And I think, and I like taking pictures like this. They're just yeah, scenery, and I composite them. Like I kind of have to visualize. When I go to a place, I kind of visualize what I want my final picture to look like, and then I might go there a couple of times, and then I just take a picture once, and then take a picture the other time, and then I composite them together to make sure that I get the effect that I want.
I want to know what street the Locks Bridge is on. I've seen people take photos of it before, but I work in downtown Houston.
It's in the Buffalo Bayou Park, but it's closer toward the east side of it, toward the east side of Buffalo Bayou.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of bridges across the Allen Parkway, and I think one of the closer walkways has the locks on it. Yeah, it took me some time to find it.
Yeah, it's a secret with some people. You ask them where they took the photos, like, I'm not telling you. It's like, I
Yeah.
want to take a picture of it, I just want to see it.
Yeah, there was a couple taking photos, engagement photos where that was their iPhone. So they like put the iPhone together and they were like taking selfies. So it was.
No, I might take a selfie if I ever find it. Yeah. Just to prove I can.
But it was funny. They're like they would dress up nicely. Like he was wearing the tux and she was wearing a nice dress, and there was their iPhone. They taking photos.
That's funny.
I mean, I offered to take a couple of pictures, and I actually did, but they were like, "Oh, it's okay. We have a good phone."
What do you find the most challenging to photograph?
What's the most challenging to photograph? I mean, people are challenging to photograph actually, because everybody has a different expectation
Yes.
of what their photos turn out to be. And sometimes when I photograph models, I get a nice picture of them, especially if I do like off-camera flash, and I'm like, here are all the photos, because I put them on my website, and I'm like, you select the photos, whichever ones you want me to modify. And they select the pictures that I do not like.